I didn't lose my son overnight. The world took him piece by piece, until he no longer saw me as his mother, but as a burden. My name is Shanaz, and I raised my son, Ryan, alone since he was 4. I worked as a school cleaner, scrubbing floors, wiping desks, waking up before sunrise. Also, I could give him a life where he never felt the hunger and loneliness I once knew. When he was small, he would hold my hand everywhere we walked. He would run into my arms, burying his face in my apron after school. He used to say, "Mama, when I grow up, I'll buy you a big house." But as he grew older, something changed. It began when he was 13. We went to his school award ceremony. He was excited the night before. He said he wanted me there. He even asked me to clap loudly so he could find me in the crowd. But when the day came, and he saw me standing in the hall with my old faded dress and my worn shoes, right in front of his friends, he looked away, like he didn't know me. I smiled and waved, but he stepped back, and then he whispered the words that cracked something inside me. "Mom, don't stand so close. You're embarrassing me." The world spun. My heart dropped. I wanted to tell him that the clothes I wore were the only ones I had after paying his tuition, that the uniform I worked in was the same job that gave him food. But I stayed quiet, because mothers swallow pain the way others swallow air, without thinking. That day was the first time he pulled away, but it wouldn't be the last. 4 years after that, every friend he brought home, every school event, every birthday, he kept me hidden, as if my love was something dirty, something to be ashamed of. He grew older, taller, colder, and little by little, my sweet boy vanished, and a stranger took his place. But I still didn't know how far this would go, how one day, my own son would grow into a man who would use me like a servant, steal from me, blind me with lies, and make me feel small in my own home. I didn't know that this was just the beginning of a heartbreak that would follow me for decades, because the boy who first said I embarrassed him would grow into a man who treated me like a maid in my own house. Disrespect doesn't start loud. It begins quietly, in the tone, in the eyes, in the small ways a child stops seeing you. After that day at the award ceremony, something in Ryan changed. He didn't hold my hand anymore, didn't wait for me after school, didn't ask me how my day was. He became ashamed of me, ashamed of my cheap clothes, ashamed of my cleaning job, ashamed of the old shoes I walked to work in. And every year that passed, the distance grew. T 15, he started talking back. At 16, he started slamming doors. At 17, he started calling me old-fashioned, backward, and embarrassing. One morning, he woke me before sunrise and said, "Make coffee. Set the table. I'm hungry." It wasn't a request. It was an order. I looked at him. My boy who used to kiss my forehead every night. Now he didn't even look me in the eye. I made the coffee. I set the table. And I cried quietly in the kitchen, so he wouldn't see. When he turned 20, he became exactly like the boys who once mocked him for having a cleaner mom. He moved out, got a job, found a girlfriend. A girl who came from a family with fancy money. The kind that looks down on people like me. When he introduced us, she didn't hide her disgust. One evening she looked at me and said, "Is that your only sorry?" Ryan didn't defend me. He didn't correct her. He didn't even flinch. He just stared at the floor. I told myself things would get better once they settled. That maybe he was just lost, influenced, confused. But I was wrong. Very wrong. After they married, they insisted I move in with them, so I wouldn't be alone. But instead of giving me warmth, they turned me into their free maid. Every morning the same routine. Mom, wake up early. Mom, make the coffee. Mom, do the laundry. Mom, clean the living room. Not once did he say please. Not once did he ask how I was. Not once did he remember the mother who raised him alone. His wife was worse. She treated me like unpaid labor, rolling her eyes when I didn't move fast enough, criticizing how I cleaned, complaining about my cooking. Once, I overheard her tell him, "Your mother is too slow. We should hire someone younger." Hire someone younger. As if I was a replaceable object. As if I wasn't the woman who gave them everything. But the worst part. Ryan didn't defend me. He never defended me. He let her words hang in the air, like they were true. And that night, as I lay awake in the small room they gave me, I realized something painful. I hadn't lost my son in a single moment. I had lost him. A little more. Every year. But I didn't know the worst was yet to come. Because soon, they wouldn't just take my labor. They would take my money too. One day, the boy who once slept on my chest, took the last money I had, and told me it was for my own good. Living with Ryan and his wife didn't feel like living. It felt like surviving. They woke me before dawn, gave me a long list of chores, left their coffee cups everywhere, let dirty dishes pile up in the sink for me to scrub, and never once said thank you. But emotionally, the silence hurt more than the orders. He no longer hugged me, stopped calling me Mama, stopped asking if I was okay. I became an unpaid maid, in my own son's house. But nothing prepared me for what came next. One morning, Ryan walked into my small room with a serious voice. "Mom, hand me your bank card." I frowned. Why? He didn't look at me. "You're old now. You shouldn't be managing money. I'll handle everything." His wife added from the doorway. "It's for the best. People your age get scammed easily." I felt small, invisible, helpless. I had always saved quietly, little by little from my cleaning job, skipping meals, mending old clothes, buying Ryan everything he needed growing up. Now the money I had earned, with aching knees and tired hands, was no longer mine. Ryan took my card, without waiting for my answer. That evening, I checked my balance. 0. Every rupee gone. My heart stopped. When I asked him what happened, he said casually, "We used it for house bills. And some for a trip we needed. Don't worry, we'll take care of you." Take care of me? The same son who couldn't stand sitting beside me at his award ceremony? The same son who let his wife call me slow and useless? The same son who now used my savings like they were pocket change? I didn't speak. Mothers learn silence better than anything else. But that night, something inside me broke. Soon, I wasn't allowed to go outside alone. His wife said, "She might get lost. Better we keep her at home." They took my independence. They took my dignity. They took every right I had fought for, all my life. And the saddest part? Ryan didn't see anything wrong. He thought I owed him. He thought I existed to serve him. He thought my life was his to control. He forgot the mother, who had walked him to school in the rain, who had gone hungry so he could eat, who had spent sleepless nights nursing him through fevers. He only saw a burden, a servant, a shadow. But life doesn't stay silent forever. God watches the hearts people hide. And soon, something would happen that Ryan never expected. He would need the same mother he discarded. He would cry for the same hands he pushed away. He would beg for the same love he took for granted. Because the day destiny tested him, his wife abandoned him. And he had no one left. except the mother he mistreated. He took everything from me. My money, my dignity, my freedom. But when life took everything from him, he finally understood who I was. Ryan believed the world would always stand on his side. He thought his wife would stay forever. He thought his job was secure. He thought money would always flow. He thought his mother was someone he could use endlessly. But life is a circle. And one day, that circle came back around. It happened suddenly. His company downsized. His position was cut. He came home pale, sweating, humiliated. His wife didn't comfort him. She didn't hold him. She didn't say it would be okay. Instead, she frowned and said, "So, you're unemployed now? How will we manage?" Her voice wasn't soft. It was sharp, accusing. That night, they argued until dawn. I heard everything from my room. Blame, insults, shouting, doors slammed. I recognized the sound of a marriage cracking point 2 weeks later. I heard her suitcase wheels dragging across the hallway. She wasn't crying. She wasn't emotional. She was calm, cold. Ryan begged, "Please don't do this. We'll figure something out." She cut him off. "I didn't marry you to struggle." Then she turned to me, the mother she once made serve her tea, and said with a smirk, "Take care of your son. He needs you now." And she walked out. Just like that. No remorse. No shame. No goodbye. Ryan fell to the floor, sobbing. The same man, who once made me feel small, was now small himself. I didn't rush to him. I didn't comfort him. Not because I didn't care, but because I needed to let him feel the very pain he gave me for years. The pain of being left alone. The pain of being treated like nothing. The pain of crying without support. Only then would he understand. Bills piled up. Eviction notices came. His phone stopped ringing. Friends disappeared. The people he once impressed didn't even return his texts. It was as if life stripped him of everything, except the thing he had thrown away, me. One night, as rain beat against the windows, he knocked on my small bedroom door. His voice was broken. "Mom, I'm sorry. I've been horrible to you. Please, don't leave me." I looked at him. The boy who once said I embarrassed him. The man who treated me like a maid. The son who emptied my savings. Now trembling like a child again. I should have been angry. I should have pushed him away. I should have reminded him of everything he did. But a mother's heart is strange. It remembers pain. But it loves anyway. I sat beside him. And for the first time in years, I touched his hair. The way I used to when he was little. He cried into my lap. "I'm scared, Mom." And I whispered, "I know, Beta. You forgot who you were. But life will remind you. And I'm here. I've always been here. But life wasn't done with us yet. Because soon, the truth about everything I did for him, everything he never saw, would be revealed in a way that broke him completely. He thought I lived for free in his house. Until he discovered how much I paid for his life." Ryan apologized. But apologies don't heal decades of wounds. Not immediately. Sometimes a heart must be broken before it can understand love. And that moment came sooner than I expected. One afternoon, he was searching through the cabinet for spare batteries, when he found a small metal box. My box. The box I had kept hidden for years. The box that carried my life, my sacrifices, my truth. I walked into the room, just as he opened it. Inside were receipts for his school uniforms, hospital bills from when he broke his arm, tuition payment slips, electricity bills I quietly paid when he was short, loan statements I took for his college, stitched notes of every rupee I saved for him, a photograph of him at age 7 holding my hand, and at the very bottom, a torn receipt of the shoes he mocked me for wearing to his awards ceremony. He froze. His hands shook as he picked up each slip. Then he found something that made his knees buckle. A salary slip. Mine. Showing how little I earned. He whispered, "Mom, you made this much. This little. All those years." I nodded gently. He stared at me, horrified. "How did we survive? How did I go to school? How did you pay for everything?" I smiled sadly. I ate less. I slept less. I bought nothing for myself. And I worked double shifts. So you wouldn't feel poor. A tear fell on one of the old receipts. Not mine. His. For the first time since he was a child, I saw the little boy inside him rise again. The boy who once loved me. Without shame. He whispered, You turned yourself into nothing. Just so I could be something." Then he picked up the torn shoe receipt. The one from the day he told me I embarrassed him. He held it to his chest. And broke. He cried so hard that the sound filled the room with years of regret. "Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." He fell to his knees in front of me and pressed his forehead to my hands. I didn't pull away. I let him cry, because sometimes a child must shatter in order to rebuild the respect he should have had all along. I stroked his hair gently. "Life teaches in strange ways, Beta. You forgot who I was. But now, you're remembering." He nodded through tears. "I'll change, Mom. I promise. You'll never suffer again." His voice cracked. "Just don't leave me. Please, don't leave me." I pulled him into my arms, the way I used to, when he was little, because a mother never leaves, even when the world does. But before he could make things right, fate delivered one more test, the kind that decides whether a man has truly changed. Anyone can say, "I'm sorry." But life wanted to know if my son meant it. After finding my box of sacrifices, Ryan became a different man. He woke up before me to make my tea. He cleaned the house without being asked. He apologized every day, not in big speeches, but in small, quiet ways. He even looked for jobs and promised he would rebuild our life. But change isn't proven in comfort. Change is proven in crisis. And soon, a crisis arrived. It was late evening. I was cooking lentils when a sharp pain shot through my chest. My vision blurred. My breath shortened. I tried calling Ryan, but the room spun, and I fell to the floor. Everything went dark. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed, and the first thing I saw was my son, holding my hand, with both of his, tears streaming down his face. His voice cracked as he whispered to the nurse, "Please save her. Please. I can't lose my mother. I never treated her right. I need to fix things. Just give me time." The nurse touched his shoulder. "She's stable. You got her here just in time." He broke into sobs. He pressed his forehead to my hand. "Mom, please wake up. I'm sorry. I want to take care of you now. I want to be the son you deserve." When I finally managed to speak, he grabbed my hand tighter. "You're okay," he whispered. "Thank God, you're okay." The doctor informed him. "She needs medication, rest, and someone responsible to care for her daily." Without hesitation, Ryan said, "I will. I'll do it. I'll cook. I'll clean. I'll wash her clothes. I'll do everything she did for me." The nurse smiled sadly. "Are you sure? Caregiving is not easy." He looked at me and nodded firmly. "It's the least I owe her." And for the next weeks, he bathed my feet, cooked my meals, helped me walk, cleaned the house, massaged my legs, sat by my bed each night, whispered prayers over me, held my hand until I fell asleep. One night, he said softly, "This is the first time I understand how much you carried. I used to think I was supporting you, but it was always you supporting me." He lowered his head. "I was blind, Mom. But I'm not blind anymore." Slowly, my strength returned. And so did something else. Ryan's heart. Not the cold man he became, but the boy I raised. The boy who used to hold my hand. The boy who once promised to buy me a big house. One evening, he brought me soup and said with teary eyes, "I can't change the past, but I'll spend the rest of my life honoring you." And for the first time in years, I saw my son as he truly was. A man born from regret, but rebuilt by love. But the story didn't end there, because soon, he did something that proved he wasn't just a changed man. He was a redeemed one. He once called me an embarrassment, but the day he stood in front of everyone and spoke my name with pride, I felt years of pain melt away. After weeks of caregiving, Ryan became a new man. Not perfect, not flawless, but changed, gentle, awake. He cooked for me before work, cleaned the house without being asked, handled bills responsibly, took me for morning walks, and apologized in small, daily ways. But the real healing came on a day I least expected. One morning, he knocked on my door shyly. "Mom, can you come with me tonight? It's something important." I nodded, confused. He wore a clean shirt, combed his hair, and asked if he could hold my arm while we walked. My heart felt warm. He took me to a small community hall. People were gathering, old neighbors, his friends, even his ex-co-workers. There was a stage, a microphone, a banner that read, "Honoring the quiet heroes among us." I didn't understand until he led me to the front row and whispered, "Tonight is for you." I froze. When his name was called, he walked up on stage. He looked nervous, but determined. He took a deep breath and began. "All my life, I misunderstood the meaning of strength. I thought strength was money. I thought strength was pride. I thought strength was success." He looked at me. His voice shook. "But the strongest person I ever knew was my mother." Gasps ripple through the audience. He continued. "She raised me alone. She worked jobs nobody respected. She ate less so I could eat more. She walked to work so I could ride the bus. And I was ashamed of her." Tears fell from his eyes. I treated her like she was less, when in reality, she was more than I ever deserved. My heart broke open. He held up the metal box, the one with all my old receipts. "My mother gave me everything she had. And now, I want the world to know her name." He stepped closer to the microphone. His voice was steady. "This is my mother, Shanaz, the woman who sacrificed her dreams so I could chase mine." Everyone turned to me, clapping, cheering, standing. I covered my face and cried. Ryan walked down from the stage, knelt before me, held my hands, and whispered, "Mom, you once raised me alone. Now let me raise you with honor." He wiped my tears, like I once wiped his that night, as we walked home hand in hand, the way he used to when he was small. He said, "I used to think you were embarrassing, but the truth is, you are the greatest pride of my life." My heart felt full of pain healed, full of love reborn, full of grace. Because some children take years to understand their mother's worth. But when they finally do, the apology becomes a love story. A mother's heart is the first home a child knows. And even if the child forgets it for a while, life always leads them back to the place where love began.